Okay, this is Spiritual Art of War. Good evening to you, gentlemen, and a few of you ladies. Today, wanted to kind of just not really talk about the relationship stuff right now because of what's going on. I will get back to that, but I wanted to kind of hit a couple of pieces concerning geopolitics. And most of the people that will end up listening to this are going to be in the United States. There will be those that will be from other Western countries, and also from developing countries as well, and third world potentially. Now, what I wanted to kind of discuss is basically the whole idea of democracy. Okay, now I'm not one of those people that believes that one of the other political system is better, such as communism or socialism, and then also what people know as democracy. Here's part of the issue is that what people need to understand is that those two systems are the systems that 90 something percent of people around the world are under, okay? And some of these systems that people are under, in addition, with them being considered a democracy or let's say a socialist country, you can still have people that are dictators and that have like a lot of authority, for such as like the head of state of North Korea, right? That's an example of somebody that has you know what you would consider like a very strong authority, okay, because of the way they have their system. That was very common for there to be a king who had a strong authority. However, even in the ancient world, you had they had counselors, they had advisors, okay? They had also different areas that of the government that they had, because remember, even if you are a king and have a kingdom, you still have to have administrative positions. You still have to have people that are understanding of like warfare, right? You also have your religious elite. So you have various elites that are going to be found in all these different type of empires or kingdoms, or today we just call them simply countries, right? um, with basically a political head of state, which usually once a year will be at the United Nations Assembly. Now, some of these are literal like royal lines, like you have like the Sultan of Brunei, okay? Even in Thailand, they might have like a prime minister or a president, but they still actually have a royal family. Now, the influence of that royal family is going to be dependent on that particular country, okay? And when you go to a place like China, they actually will have the political elite who will then elect or choose a person who would be the representative or the head of state. But what people need to understand is that in those type of countries, a country like China, the reason why they have a lot of social stability is because they have more of a collective mindset. And it's frowned upon to be an individual going against the grain of the rest of the country, because culturally that is something that's always been frowned upon. When you come to the United States, you have a large amount of what's people call individualism or freedom of expression, freedom of choice. And because of this freedom of expression and freedom of choice, a lot of people feel that they actually have influence and power over their lives, and they really don't. And they go out here and they participate in protests, they participate in the general elections, and they go home and they think that they've made a difference when they really haven't. All you've done is by participating in the political process, you're showing that you are a sheep. And why am I bringing this up? Because you have this whole situation going on with Donald Trump and being the president. This is his second term. He was able to escape RICO charges by him being elected. He wasn't found, didn't end up going to trial and being found guilty because, there's a lot of information that was coming out that would have caused for him to really, end up in jail. End up in, not in jail, but in prison, federal prison. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are looking at that situation and the situation of him surviving you know, the assassination attempt, and they're like, wow, this guy really cares about the American people, that he was willing to risk, his freedom and his life for America, for the greater good of America. This is the whole Make America Great Again mantra, right? MAGA. Now, here it is that during his campaign, he told his followers that he was going to steer America away from war. Okay. And he was going to make all these great changes, and he was going to be moving very fast. And you've seen that things have actually gotten worse. Things have gotten worse socially. You see with the whole is illegal immigration stuff that's going on with ICE, which that's stuff that some of the people that are complaining about it, they voted for. Okay, they voted for Trump, and they didn't believe they didn't believe that he was going to be a man of his word, but he was on that point. Now I have a whole thing about that. It's very difficult to remove millions upon millions of people. Like, if you actually look at the math and you look at how long it takes to deport people, it's hard. You would actually have to do something that would make them so scared that they would rather leave than stay, and that would be loss of life mainly. Okay, other than that, a lot of people from these countries, they're gonna just get with their relatives and to try and survive, or they're gonna try and go underneath the radar in the system. So then you have like the economic stuff, because of a lot of the tariff um, trade wars that was going on. A lot of stuff got shaken up and caused a lot of instability in the market. These are things that people that voted for him weren't even expecting in regards to like the economic stuff. Then you have the war, potentially going to war with Iran, which is something that has always been on the plate, because the whole situation with the Israeli state and Iran is a bipartisan thing. Okay, both Democrats and Republicans that are elected officials, they have an allegiance to the Israeli state, and to basically do everything they can to support the Israeli state, because it is a de facto elite state. It's really the 51st state, and it's this 51st state, but really it's the state above all states within the United States. That's the thing that people understand. That alliance is almost like if the United States was supporting California against a Mexican invasion, or Mexico trying to recapture California. That's how a lot of um, these politicians look at it. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of influence with the lobbyists and IPAC and all these different groups. So when you go out here and you vote, and you think you're voting to prevent war from occurring, preventing a world war, you are part of the problem, because you are showing them, the political elite, the global elite, who are even above those that are in Congress, you're showing them that you're still a fool. And when you look at what's going on, you have the MAGA versus MEGA, Make America Great Again versus Make Israel Great Again. Basically, the faction is splitting up among the right, where there's a faction of the right that voted for Trump, that actually want him, that are excited about the prospects of war against Iran. And then there's a side, the MAGA side, that say, hey, we need to focus on America and get ourselves out of this situation. This is not profitable for us. And there's like a little mini civil war brewing within the people that were supporters of Trump. And there's a lot of people that are very upset. Now, what's happening is you got guys like Tucker Carlson who are stepping in, and they're taking on the side that are against war. And a lot of people are rallying behind Tucker Carlson. And you had that interview between Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz. You can look it up, and you can see where Tucker Carlson asked Ted Cruz if he knew how many people were in Iran, what their ethnic breakdown was of their country, and he really didn't care, right? All this stuff is just done to make y'all feel like y'all's voices is being heard. And y'all fall for this stuff hook, line, and sinker. And I've talked to people, you know, especially like people that I work with, and I'll try and gauge their understanding of politics, and they're just falling for the okey doke. They fully believe in this stuff. This stuff is a whole, acting show going on, and they can't even see it. And at the end of the day, like, there's really nothing you can really do about it, because the people are choosing to believe what they want to believe, and they're going to go right into any area or the battle within this political turmoil that they're going to choose. And why am I going into that? Because uh, with all that being said, understand this: anybody who believes in voting, believes in the political process, they're very dangerous. They're very dangerous. See, this is why you people need to study history. Okay, look up the Bolshevik Revolution. A lot of people don't understand the danger of believing in political factions and parties. And the thing about it is, most people are followers. So, if long as they have as long as there's an objective and there's a group of people that are uh, the bad guys, and somebody else is presenting another case that you agree with, and you're rocking with that, not understanding deeply how messed up it is, then you're just going to fall for whatever propaganda that's going to go there, and they can push you all the way to snitch on your friends, your coworkers, your family members, participate in, deletions, participate in, citizens arrest, Gestapo type stuff. And a lot of you people, will fall into that stuff. A lot of you people that are into politics, y'all will fall into this trap. And they show this stuff psychologically. They actually, back in the 1970s, I want to say it was UC Berkeley, did a study, did a whole experiment where a group of students played prison guards and another group played the prisoners. And within a matter of days, you saw the prison guards were treating the students, the ones that were made prison guards, were started to look at their own fellow students who were playing prisoners as actual prisoners. You know what I'm saying? And then there was tension between them. And it was like a deep social experiment to show that when you give people a role, when you tell somebody, hey, you're this, so you're Democrat, you're better, you're Republican, you're better, it shows you that they're willing to play into that part. And whoever's in power, whoever has the right to enact basically, violence, or has a monopoly on violence, and is told that they can act out upon it because they're right and the other people are wrong, these people will take advantage of that, and they'll do it because we've seen it throughout history. And no matter how many times you people read history, watch documentaries and stuff, no matter how much y'all think y'all are above those behaviors of those people that did those same things, the Red Terror, okay, the stuff that was going on over Mao Zedong and under Stalin, y'all think y'all are above those behaviors of those people that were doing those things and their followers. Y'all think y'all are above that. Pol Pot, you know what I'm saying? Y'all really do think y'all are above. Y'all don't realize that y'all are just automatons. Y'all are just robots. Y'all are just programmed machine robots that will basically become heartless in, a matter of minutes, you know? And y'all will just do exactly what y'all are told to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's something else, man, when you see it. But a lot of people, they watch that stuff, they think they're like that. You are just like those people. And you're not even gonna realize it, because when people get into that mode of doing these type of things, they're not even gonna remember. They're not gonna remember or think to themselves to be like those, Nazis or whatever. You know what I'm saying? However, they look at it, because that's a whole nother subject when you come talk about the whole German, um, the whole Nazi socialist party, and the whole beef with the Jewish people, so to speak. That's a whole deep subject. You know what I'm saying? Really can't even get on it on the YouTube, to be honest. But if you go even to the Bolsheviks, a lot of people became monsters, man. And if you go through that whole era of that time, bro, like, it's scary stuff, bro. We're talking about some straight horror movie type stuff. That's why you can't even really make a movie about like something like that, because it'll just be absolutely terrifying. You know what I'm saying? And that was the intention, was to get people away from believing a particular way of thinking and to push them towards the ways of Karl Marx and Lenin and Trotsky, and to jump into that whole era of being a communist. You know what I'm saying? And the democracy is no different. Democracy killed just as many people as communism, more people than communism. You know what I'm saying? Democracy believes you can go across the world and drop bombs on people and invade whole nations and take resources and rape and pillage and kill millions. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't even understand that it's not like one is better than the other. It's just that you're just willing to participate in whatever it is you believe in, and you'll just become victims of it, or you'll become perpetrators, and you'll think you're right when you're doing it. So that's the reason why I say again that in anybody who believes in politics, anybody who believes in politics, the political system, they're very dangerous. They're very dangerous. I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, for any of y'all are listening, if you believe in it, you need to examine yourself. You're very dangerous. You don't even know how dangerous you are to yourself and to your family and to your friends and to your coworkers and the people around you. You don't know how dangerous it is if you're holding on and really believing this stuff, believing in this Democrat, Republican, left wing, right wing. You are dangerous. Okay? And you will support things that you never thought you would support. In fact, some of y'all already getting to that point. Some of you already uttered certain things that you never thought you would have uttered when you were a kid, when you were in middle school and you were watching, talking about World War II and Red Terror and this, that, and the other. You couldn't believe it until you became that yourself. So chippity check yourself before you wreck yourself. But this gonna fall on the deaf ears for a lot of y'all. But it is what it is. I gotta say it so that when you go through it and you see that you're that what you said, what I told you you are, you'll know that I already told you before it happened. So go ahead and close it out. I'm gonna probably do another one dealing with geopolitics. I'm gonna catch you in the next episode.